it's Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me another huge favor, also hit the like button on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. All right, Bears fans, I have now had a couple hours to really reflect on yet another loss to the Green Bay Packers. And whenever you lose to your hated rival multiple times, that was the Packers' 11th straight win over the Chicago Bears. It always hurts the same way, especially when you have an opportunity to win, especially when you felt that your team dominated that entire game, and not to come away with a win definitely sucks. It gets you questioning of things like, are we truly cursed when it comes to, beating the Green Bay Packers? And yeah, yesterday was a tough loss. You guys, anyone that was on my live, you guys really saw my true raw emotions. If anyone was actually in my live, I first and foremost want to apologize once again for some of the choice words that I said. I tried to refrain from saying those type of words or cussing on my live streams, but that was my pure emotion. And yesterday was yet another heartbreaking loss. And as a Bears fan, I feel for anyone that supports the Chicago Bears, because it has been a rough season. First, the Hail Mary in Washington, and then a blocked field goal against the Green Bay Packers. Both of those games could have been wins. The Bears could easily be a 6-4 football team right now. So yes, yesterday's loss to the Green Bay Packers definitely hurt a little bit differently, especially when you felt that the Bears had a golden opportunity to finally, break that losing streak against the Packers. But like I said, I don't want to talk about too many positives because like I said, I think we all know at this point who the problem is, and I'll go into that a little bit deeper on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. But first and foremost, huge shout out to quarterback Caleb Williams. The last couple of weeks, Caleb Williams wasn't really playing solid football, right? He has been struggling over the last couple of weeks, but what a response from Caleb Williams against a pretty good Green Bay Packers defense. 23 for 31, 231 yards, obviously no touchdowns, but also no interceptions as well, to take care of the football. And he was really decisive with his legs against that Green Bay Packers defense as well. 9 carries for 70 yards. So he had 301 total yards. That was the best performance I think I've seen from our rookie quarterback since the Jacksonville game, right? So to me, it's all about the development of Caleb Williams at this point. I think we can all agree, sitting at 4-6 with a lot of tough matchups coming up for the Chicago Bears. I think it's all about the development of Caleb Williams, and I think he took a step forward after 3 games that he wasn't really playing like himself. And once again, I just want to talk about the final drive, because in total, I think Caleb Williams had an outstanding game, but it was the final drive where, Green Bay had that go-ahead touchdown to go up 20-19. The Bears had 2:56 left on the clock. I think it was a couple of timeouts. And this is when you truly saw, as a Bears fan, what we get to expect for hopefully the next 10 to 12 years, having Caleb Williams as your quarterback, because he has that type of energy that you are never out of it when the ball is in his hands. And he definitely showed that on the final drive against the Green Bay Packers. First and foremost, took back-to-back sacks. And then on 3rd and 19, he breaks a sack, flushes out to the right, and throws an absolute dart on the run for 16 yards to Rome Odunze to get us in that manageable 4th and 3 situation. On the very next play, he threw a beautiful back shoulder throw to Rome Odunze once again. So that rookie-to-rookie connection has definitely been heating up over the past couple weeks, and it definitely showcased on this final drive. And then the next play, threw a beautiful ball on an out route to Keenan Allen to put the team in a position to, have a chance to win that football game at the end. And once again, we'll talk about that situation a little bit more later on in the podcast. But like I said, Caleb Williams did everything he needed to do yesterday to win that football game, and even got to a point where he had the Green Bay defense actually frustrated. Once again, that Green Bay defense is no joke. They have been playing really, really good football. And Caleb Williams arguably had one of his best games of the season against the Green Bay Packers. So even though they lost, it seems like the shift in this rivalry will continue to hopefully go the Chicago Bears' way, just due to the fact that the Chicago Bears finally have a quarterback that can dissect this Green Bay Packers defense. For years, the Packers defense have had their way against Justin Fields, against Mitch Trubisky, right? But it seems for once in our lifetime, we finally have a quarterback that can compete with the Green Bay Packers. And once we have a capable head coach and we established, that offensive line and build on that group as well, I think we finally have a quarterback that can dominate the Green Bay Packers for years to come. So as much as it sucked to see the Chicago Bears lose in the way that they lost by that blocked field goal yesterday against the Packers, it was good to see that Caleb Williams elevated himself in crunch time and had an outstanding 2-minute drill to get the Chicago Bears in position for a chance to win that football game. I also want to give a huge shout out to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown. So obviously he was the main topic of the week. I'm going into this Green Bay Packers game. Obviously, Matt Eberflus and the Bears decided to fire Shane Waldron, and it seemed like it already paid off in yesterday's loss to the Green Bay Packers. And once again, he had these guys prepared. You can tell that he was just holding guys accountable because everyone was just executing at a really, really high level. The same screenplays that Shane Waldron would call in prior weeks that weren't working, they worked for Thomas Brown and the Chicago Bears offense yesterday because everyone was doing their job. Obviously, you saw the energy from Thomas Brown when they finally were able to score their first touchdown, in like 25 offensive drives. And I absolutely love that emotion from Thomas Brown. The Bears truly dominated the Green Bay Packers yesterday. They had more total yards, more first downs, and they owned the time of possession as well by 13 minutes. They truly did everything they needed to do to win that football game. And a lot of the props and who we should be thanking is Thomas Brown. So now I'm encouraged to see what he's able to do with Caleb Williams for the rest of the season, because at the end of the day, as a Bears fan, that's all that matters is the development of Caleb Williams. I know there was a lot of people talking about Bears fans and people from outside looking in that were a little bit concerned about Caleb Williams kind of going backwards with Shane Waldron. But Thomas Brown, really came in week one and they already seem like they have a great connection. And to me, that's all that matters. And what's so sad about this, Bears fans, is that Thomas Brown actually interviewed for the OC position for the Bears, and they ended up hiring Shane Waldron. So once again, that's another mistake by Matt Eberflus. And just imagine if Thomas Brown was the OC from the get-go, how much better Caleb Williams and this Bears offense could have been. And just imagine what our record could have possibly been, because the offense has struggled all season long with Shane Waldron. And in 1 week, Thomas Brown was able to make this offense look like a really good offense in the National Football League. I think he will build off this performance against, once again, a very good Green Bay Packers defense. And I'm definitely looking forward to it for weeks to come. So once again, huge shout out to Thomas Brown. So now the main point of this podcast, and obviously it's a huge negative, and that is head coach Matt Eberflus. The Bears lost yesterday, but I also think they won. And the reason why I say that they won, because they used Shane Waldron as a scapegoat, right? To, obviously save Matt Eberflus's job. But yesterday did not help Matt Eberflus whatsoever. Thomas Brown came in and, did his job. Got Caleb Williams playing well, had the offense playing well as well. Really gave him the chance to win this football game and break this losing streak to the Green Bay Packers. But once again, Matt Eberflus couldn't get out of his own way. Once again, 5-17 in one-score games since 2022. That's on head coach Matt Eberflus. Has never beaten the Green Bay Packers. That's on head coach Matt Eberflus. It was another blown lead in quarter number 4. And you want to know why it was another blown lead? Because he was playing scared, coaching scared. And that's what it comes down to. He was coaching scared. Caleb Williams was absolutely dissecting the Green Bay Packers on that final drive. And instead of getting a couple more yards with 36 seconds and a timeout, he decided to run the clock down and settle for a 46-yard field goal. I want to give you guys another stat, and this is why it's crazy, because Matt Eberflus came out after the game and, even today, and doubled down on it and said, hey, we were confident and I would do the same thing again. I wouldn't be aggressive there because, obviously you risk, fumbling the ball there, or maybe you risk a penalty, which, could be true. But let me throw a stat with you. Cairo Santos, I think since like 2020, is 100% from 40 or fewer, 40 yards or fewer field goals, 70 for 70, 100%. From 45 plus, Cairo Santos is 76%. So not as good. So when you look at those stats as a head coach, and like I said, we have full confidence from Cairo Santos. It's unfortunate that field goal got blocked. things happen sometimes. It just did not go in the Bears' favor. But when you look at those stats as a head coach and you have 36 seconds on the clock and a timeout left, why wouldn't you run the ball 2 more times with Roschon Johnson when you know he's probably going to get 3 yards a carry and get him a little bit closer to where you're like, you know what? I'm confident that Carlos Santos is going to nail this 39-yard field goal. But once again, for him not to hold accountability as a head coach and double down on his decision to stay with that 46-yard field goal is just absolutely, once again, malpractice. It's him coaching scared. It's him just trying to save his own job. But guess what, Matt Eberflus? You are not saving your own job right now. I feel that Matt Eberflus's job, it should be so red hot. Once again, the Bears are not going to fire him midseason. I understand that. But I truly think by the end of the season, Matt Eberflus should no longer be the Chicago Bears head coach. It's absolutely pitiful. There's also a play when the Bears were up 19-14. And I think they were at the Green Bay Packers like 46, 45-yard line. So it would have been risky. It was 4th and 3 once again. I think there was about 5 minutes left. Caleb Williams looked at the sideline and said, hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's try to, end this game or continue this drive because, the drive looked good. The drive started at their own 2-yard line. They had a nice little drive going. They took a lot of clock off, and they were sitting at a 4th and 3. And Matt Eberflus decided to punt it, which once again, it's situational football. I understand in the moment, he said, we have Torrey Taylor, one of the best punters in the National Football League. Let's try to pin them back, which I understand that thinking. But at the same time, when you have an offense that has the Green Bay Packers defense on their heels, that would have been a good spot for Matt Eberflus to be aggressive, especially seeing that 4 and 5 and actually playing to win. You have lost 10 straight games to this Green Bay Packers football team, but instead of coaching and playing aggressive, you decide to coach conservative once again and punt the ball. And obviously that went to bite the Bears in the ass because the Green Bay Packers offense drove right down the field for the go-ahead touchdown. So to me, once again, Matt Eberflus, I can't say enough bad things about the guy, right? I think he's a great guy, but he's just not a good situational head coach. He has cost the Chicago Bears time and time and time again. Once again, the Bears could easily be 6 and 4. And once again, huge shout out to Harrison Graham because he actually put it perfectly. He said if the Bears had a mid-tier head coach, once again, Matt Eberflus is a bottom-tier head coach in the National Football League. He said if the Bears just had a mid-tier head coach, this team would be 6 and 4. If the Chicago Bears had a Ben Johnson or even like a Matt LaFleur, this team would probably be like 8 and 2 right now. I still have a whole lot of confidence in the Chicago Bears moving forward in the future. I think Caleb Williams proved that he is our guy long-term. But at the end of the day, we all know the root of the problem. Yes, Shane Waldron was a little bit of the problem. Yes, Luke Getsy was a little bit of the problem. But the big problem with the Chicago Bears right now will be Matt Eberflus, the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And of course, the McCaskies have their blame. Ryan Poles has their blame as well. But if Matt Eberflus survives all of this and they bring him back next season, you are once again wasting another season. You can no longer change Matt Eberflus. He has shown his true colors, and it's just not going to work out. His situational coaching will continue to hinder the team winning football games. It will continue to hinder the development of Caleb Williams. It just will not be good. So overall, I think Ryan Poles and this organization knows what they need to do. And I think once the season ends, they will make that move and fire head coach Matt Eberflus. That's just my personal opinion. But once again, I wanted to come on here really quick and just give my thoughts on the game. And it did suck to lose to the Green Bay Packers for the 11th straight time. But once again, I do feel like there is a shift, within this rivalry that the Bears can hopefully finally break this losing streak with the Green Bay Packers. But it has to start with getting rid of head coach Matt Eberflus at the end of this season. So Bears fans, once again, let me know how you're feeling after yet another loss to the Green Bay Packers down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys want to rant, if you guys want to say something positive, I would love to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe because I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.